never remember to time up that music. Maybe next time we'll get it, but this time we're just going to go live 12 seconds earlier than planned. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Meet the Ecamm Fam. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Katie, and I'm so excited to be hanging out here today. I was saying to Matt right before we jumped on, I'm always amazed that you all come and hang out and sign up to be on this show. It's always so fun and exciting and honestly flattering that you would want to spend time with all of us. So please feel free to drop your questions in. If you want to be on this show and spend some time with me and the whole Ecamm fam, the link to sign up is in the description below here on YouTube. So definitely take advantage of that. We'll keep doing it as long as you keep showing up. So we're thrilled to have everyone here. If you're joining us for the first time, this show is really just an opportunity to highlight and showcase some of the incredible people within the Ecamm fam, talk about what they're up to, how they found Ecamm, what kinds of projects excite them, and everything in between. So questions, welcome. Feel free to ask anything and everything. We're here to answer. And Paul is hanging out with us in the chat, so he will help grab all of those links, like how you can sign up for Meet the Fam and everything else, because that's how Paul rolls. Hello to Jaden. I see Roy is here. I know Matt's hanging out in the chat and behind the scenes. We have Rich and Lala and Sammy and Hugh. Everyone is hanging out here today. Marie, thank you so much. Mark just jumped in. Jeremy is here. Hope the weather is great. Hope you're finishing off your summer strong. I can't believe we're already into August. Well, without further ado, before I get too distracted with the comments, I am super excited today because Matt is here, and Matt has I think one of my favorite studios out there. So don't be sad if it's not you, because just Matt knows how to do some cool things with light and color. So I mean, just that excites me about him. But he also is an incredible woodworker. He is all around geek. He's got all kinds of backgrounds in all kinds of different topics and a ton of shows, and he's just out there creating content. So let's pick his brain and find out how he does what he does and just geek out. Matt is on the show today.
Hey, hi, Katie. Hi, fam. I'm thrilled to be here.
here.
Thanks for having me.
Oh my gosh, anytime. Seriously, there is something about your studio space, and it was so fun watching you turn on all the lights and get all set up. But there's something about the use of color and geekery. I love that you have all these little details in the background, but everything feels perfectly planned and spaced out. And I don't know. It's just something about the colors. Green is not one that most video people use. So I love that you have it in your background, and it works. It works.
I have
really,
a geeky
really well.
reason for green as well. But yes, more color equals more better. I know that's broken English, but I like saying it that way.
more color, more better. Oh my gosh.
These are exterior flood lamps. You could light up a house with these because it's
whoa.
insane. I tried every iteration and I just kept getting more powerful until I ran out of power levels. I got the most anyway. It's nuts. I love it.
Okay, I love that because I love a hack, and I have to admit that I think sometimes at Ecamm we go like so into the gear and the tech that we forget that there are like lots of other ways that you can get to the same result. So yeah, absolutely. There's like other kinds of lights out there. You don't have to be spending an absolute fortune on like all the studio stuff to end up having a really cool studio. So that's great. I love it. And I love everyone popping in. I see Johnny just joining, and Yolanda's here. So thanks so much for joining us. Throw those questions in for Matt. Matt sent a ton of questions too, so get ready. We're buckled in for lots and lots of questions.
We could probably go 3 hours, but we won't do that too.
We're gonna be out for 3 hours, so everyone grab your drinks and your snacks. We're gonna sit here and go until Paul throws us off. That's how we normally roll. Well, I want to kick off at the very beginning because I didn't mention this in my brief intro of you, but you are the man with all of the YouTube channels and all of the content. So do you want to list off what shows you do, what regular shows you do and YouTube channels you have, and the kind of one liner on what they are?
Sure.
Do you need a list? Do you need to reference something?
I have visuals.
Oh, good. I love it. Well, all right, wait, hang on. There we go.
Okay, there we go. Cool. So my most recent show is on my vlog channel called Awesome Fun Things. And that's just where I recap all the creative stuff I've done the day before. It's Monday through Friday, 8:15 a.m. in the morning Eastern. And it's a lot of fun. Fun is in the channel name, Awesome Fun Things. I also go live occasionally on Awesome Wood Things. This is my oldest channel. I started this in 2014. And I will showcase the geeky things that I have built in my wood shop. This Notion sign is one of those. Pretty much everything you see here, I've created myself. And so I'm on episode 8 on the Awesome Wood Things channel. That show is called Design Process, because I like to talk about the design of the item, not just. There's a lot of woodworking shows and crafting shows that tell you how to use your tools. This isn't that. This is how to make the stuff look good by starting good through design. And I think it's really starting to resonate. But the vlog channel, I'm at episode 752.
Whoa.
And I started that in the middle of August 2021.
Oh, well, happy birthday to the channel.
Yeah.
We're here
it's
again
kind
in
of
the middle
nuts.
of August.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a lot.
So,
for 2 years, 2021, 3 years? My math's bad.
Yeah.
That's a lot of episodes. How regularly are you doing
It's
that?
260 a year, because, not including Saturday and Sunday. And I pretty much always go live. I mean, I was hospitalized in the emergency room. I skipped my show that day. The next day I was in recovery, and I did my show from the comfortable room upstairs.
Wow.
So that's sort of the rule. If I'm in the ER, no, I won't do a show. Otherwise,
you have limits. Yeah.
I'm going live. But Katie, I have a long history of streaming. I started on Awesome Wood Things doing a recap show of Awesome Woodworkers, and I had a couple co-hosts, and it kind of got hard. So after 13 episodes and some flaky co-hosts, I'm like, okay, I'm rocking this solo. And then I did a show. This was all back when there was Google Hangouts on air.
Oh, yeah.
Way back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And then I said, well, I'm really good at Adobe Illustrator. I went to design college and graduated, and that's what we use. I use Adobe Illustrator every day of my life. Full-time job. I work in publishing. I did 36 shows of that. And then I started saying, well, I'm really figuring out this YouTube thing. I should do a whole show on how to be awesome on YouTube.
Yeah.
So I've done 324 episodes of that. Now I did shut that. I did a pivot. I'm not doing that content anymore. Mm-hmm. And then, as I mentioned, I have Good Morning Haas and Design Process. So all in, I have about 1,300 live streams lifetime across all these properties.
Wow.
And I'm not stopping anytime soon. Thank
I
God
love it.
you don't pay Ecamm for the number of times you go live, or
We're gonna send
I
you an
would
invoice.
be, yeah, I'd be in a lot of trouble. You could use it as much as you want. So I'm having fun going live and making video. Live is just one portion of the thing I
Mhm.
do. I also use Ecamm for my edited videos as well. I got a whole deal about that. I do
I
love the
love
product.
it.
I
And
do.
apparently don't forget to mention that you guest host as well. So you've got lots and lots of stuff. I know I wish that there was a way to, and maybe there is and I just don't know. I was wondering the other day like how many live streams I've been in, and like I can track like how many I've hosted because I can go back through, the Ecamm in my personal channels to find that out. But I was like, oh man, it's too bad there's not like a place where you can just go and build like put your name or what have you and have it show up like all the different places, because I feel like it's probably pretty high. It's amazing how quickly time flies, and how,
I
if
built
you
that in Notion, so Notion gives me those answers.
oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Matt can help with all of the geekiness. I love
Oh
it.
yeah.
Don't forget to mention you do a $2 giveaway in your own theme song in the morning show. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
I have a theme song. It's kind of nuts. I I have a lot of fun engagement stuff. If you want sort of my insights on how to keep an audience engaged, I figured out a lot. So
Yeah,
maybe we can catch that.
let's chat about that. So
Oh,
you're using Ecamm
good.
differently across all of your channels. So yeah, what are you doing as far as engagement goes?
Oh, okay. So for Good Morning Haas, I have Stream Elements, which is free, and it has a chatbot feature. And you can program, if you put an exclamation mark and a term, the chatbot can reply to the person with whatever you want to reply. So my shtick
Oh.
is my chatbot, unlike me, see, I have a happy, sunny disposition. My chatbot is snarky and mean. So that's sort of like a dare, like, be careful.
Be
I'm
careful
not
what you say.
responsible for this, you know. So I give a list on Google Doc that you can hit in the description of my video, and it'll tell you what the terms are. And people put those terms in just to see what the chatbot's going to go like that, and that's good for
Genius. Yeah.
because when you enter a comment, the system, the YouTube platform knows there's engagement, so
Yeah.
it's a plus there.
Oh,
I
okay. That is super fun. Be right back. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take some notes over here.
Oh, okay. This is one of many. So I also have the Mario sounds,
Mhm.
like that, and
I see
every
Jeremy saying that you're caught up on all the royalties to the Mario family.
yes. I'm a child of the '80s. All this stuff is like Mario, He-Man, Pac-Man,
Perfect.
I love it. So when my audience hears a Mario sound, they either type the word Mario or use a Mario membership emoji, and then they get a
Ah.
point for that day. And at the end of the 5-day stream week, I do a random spin and I give someone a $2 bill. So
Oh, that is awesome.
and, the Pennsylvania Department of Revenue, don't come after me for an illegal lottery. It's free to enter because you can just type MARIO. You don't have to be a paid member. So, it's a free giveaway, not a contest.
Not a contest. We've been diving into all of those details recently because we've been doing more and more giveaways. So now we're now very aware of the sweepstakes versus giveaways versus
Yeah.
contests. So
I
you're
have
safe.
I have
You're
dif
safe.
I have different for people who show up regularly, sometimes I will do a funny sound effect to when I put their comment up on screen. So if someone likes to sew, I'll do a sewing machine. Someone likes baseball, do 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 do. It's just a fun way to recognize the guest. I have the membership shout outs. I will shout you out either visually on screen or just verbally, and people like to be members, so they get that. And, it's 260 shows a year. That's a lot of advertising for, what, 3.99 membership or whatever it costs.
Yeah.
um I will do, if I have like a small win, we'll do the crab dance celebration. like,
I
like you
love it.
that probably the audio probably didn't come through,
No,
but
the
we
audio didn't go through, but it's pretty awesome.
that's super fun. I just, it's all about the engagement. Now I will deliver my content. When I'm talking about something I want to talk when I'm recapping my day, I'll try and stay focused on that, and then just people love it. You know, they love seeing their name on screen. They love seeing their icon. I make their icon as big as possible on the comment
Yeah.
because I like to
To show them.
recognize people.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are just a few of the things I've done to kind of keep the engagement up, and the focus is fun. It's in
Yeah.
the name, awesome, fun things. So
Do
that's what I
you
got going on there.
do you find that so I love it, and I'm seriously now got my mind spinning on all the, all the fun things that we could be doing differently or better at Ecamm. But are you repurposing any of those videos? And if so, do you
Yes.
find it challenging to try to find ways so that the people watching content that isn't live don't feel left out? Or like
Yes.
how are you navigating that?
Well, if you'd asked me this question at the beginning of the year, I'd give you a completely different answer
Ooh, I love
because
that
I've
take.
been all in on Ecamm's professional development. They've rolled out the Leap conference.
Yes.
Anything you do, listen, folks. There's no excuse. Ecamm gives you ton of tips and training, and the live shows you have. Anyway, I picked up a lot of stuff based on those free development. So now I use Adobe Express instead of Adobe Photoshop, which I have. I have the full license to Photoshop,
Perfect.
but I like Adobe Express because it's fast
Yeah.
and it does exactly what I need. So you can resize your rectangle thumbnail into a square, and
Mm-hmm.
then I use Adobe Express to post that over to Instagram as an image with a call to action, linked playlist in bio.
Mm-hmm.
I make a short for each video I create, and I publish a short. And I'm starting to push those shorts into other places as well, not just
Yeah.
on YouTube. But let me tell you, when those shorts pop off on YouTube, they pop off.
Yeah, shorts are nothing to ignore. That's for sure. So if you're sitting in the
Yeah,
chat and you have not played around
yeah.
with shorts yet, please do. It is
Now,
remarkable.
my method for making shorts is probably going to be laughed at because I use two different video editors because I haven't found
No,
I
everyone's different. That's the
I'm
joy of
very
all of this.
particular.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you mentioned how everything's purposely placed. Like
Hmm.
I am meticulous about this stuff, and I haven't found one solution to do it all. And I've tried a whole bunch, so I'm doing that. Yeah, I also got the idea to start the email newsletter back up, where I'll put my 5 icons in an email with bulleted lists of what I talked about. I use ChatGPT to
Hmm.
rip through the transcript of my videos to make the one, make the chapter markers, and then they just become bulleted lists. I'm just trying to give value and convenience
Yeah.
to the audience and putting my stuff everywhere. And things have started to ramp up.
That's
It's
awesome.
it's
That's what we
it's
love to
getting
hear. I
yeah.
love it. Some great questions coming through here. All right, so I'm gonna scroll back to make sure I'm not missing any. All right, here. I
The
think we
candy of
just.
choice at
I
Hershey
know. Yeah, I
Park.
was gonna say. I think we start with that one. What is your candy of choice at
I
Hershey Park?
I live adjacent to Hershey, Pennsylvania,
Oh, does it
and
smell like chocolate endlessly
it
in the air?
freaking does. It does because they had storage tanks that hold the cocoa beans,
Oh
and it's
yeah.
just like now I think they tore those down a couple years ago, but yeah, no, it's awesome. There's only one answer, and there's only one correct answer. If this isn't your answer, I'm sorry, you're wrong because there's no gray areas. Reese's peanut butter cups are slamming.
I would
Peanut butter
I
and
would agree with you on
chocolate.
that. And I weirdly enough, I'm not even a big peanut butter fan, but when peanut butter and chocolate are together,
Mm.
I'm in.
Oh,
I
yeah,
am there.
yeah,
So
for
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, that'd probably be my favorite as well. And
Yeah.
I'm saying that as a Canadian that grew up totally in the world of Cadbury. So like Hershey in general is not my jam, but if Hershey, then definitely
Hershey chocolate
definitely
is
Canadian.
good. I wouldn't say it's the world's greatest, but it's good. It's good.
Where's
It's
the
fun
Ecamm
living.
coffee mug branding? I can't read. Oh, I can. I can reach mine.
This
I'm gonna knock everything down. All right, yeah, there. Matt and I both have ours. I have my OG one upstairs. The rest of them are in a display at the Ecamm office.
this I'm very
Oh, Matt's
proud of
got his
that award.
gold mug.
See, the Bowser guards it. So if anyone tries to touch it, he's like bats them away.
I love it. All right. So Radar Apologetics, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Asks, is there a way to have a guest name automatically pop up in the interview mode? Yeah. That's a good question. I almost never use that one anymore. I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, here it is. Here. So Matt put his name in, so it's blocked by your comment here.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
and
how
then I
I
can.
entered it.
Yeah, exactly. And so here I can turn mine on too.
It's not the most
See,
graphically
it's not.
pleasing,
It's
but
not as cute as
it
what I've set up, but it's yeah,
it
it's
does
there.
do it. To Ecamm's credit, it does have the feature.
It does have the feature. It does
Yeah.
have it.
I
All
use
right.
Ecamm a little differently for my piano videos, if you
Oh
wanna
yeah,
hear
tell
about
us about
that.
that. I'm turning my mic up a
Okay,
little bit. Go ahead.
okay. Hopefully my mic is coming through.
Yours is good. Paul
Um,
says that I'm a little bit quiet, so.
okay. Um, the piano videos, they're edited videos. They're not live because I'm not very good. I've only been playing the piano 3.5 years. Um, I use the top-down shot as I have 3 shots of me playing the piano, and I edit them together, and I use the top-down shot as an Ecamm recording, and then I bring in all the footage from the cameras and the Ecamm recording into a video editor, and I put that together along with the audio, which from an instrument, like if you're dealing with an instrument, your production is 10 times complex. I was taken back by how difficult audio is. I've mastered all the video, the 2D space and the video space. Those are complex topics. No problem. Audio, I'm still fumbling through it because I also do the MIDI file to turn
Hmm.
into an on-screen keyboard with the keys lighting up that I press, the overlay in the corner. They're the
Whoa.
most technically sophisticated videos. They're all 1080p, 60 frames a second, high res from either Ecamm or different high res cameras. So their Ecamm is part of it, a small part of it, but they're very hard to do, and I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah, I'm always amazed every time I speak with anyone that is using Ecamm as a musician, either to teach lessons or to showcase music in any way, because it's difficult. I mean, you're dealing with, a much higher level of quality needed on the audio. And then there's also like issues with latency as well, because you're trying to match up like finger positioning alongside the actual
Mhm.
sound. And if you're live streaming on top of that, it
Oh,
can get pretty tricky. So, but people
I
pull
don't
it
even wanna
off.
imagine what it's like to live stream an instrument. I have enough not issues, but enough challenges,
Yeah.
doing the recorded videos, but yeah,
Oh
it's
my
fun.
gosh. These some great
Having a
questions coming
blast.
in. All right. So, what would you tell your pre-pandemic self about live streaming? Live streaming was not as popular before the pandemic, although Matt was live streaming prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
So,
I was.
but
It was hard to buy gear. The
yeah.
most valuable thing at that time was the Elgato capture cards. Like you
Mm-hmm.
couldn't get any of them, and
Yeah.
they were price gouged all over the place. But I used that time. I built a course in that downtime because I'm like I'm not sitting idle. So I threw together a course
That's
and
awesome.
pre-pandemic um, work on the content and the delivery. The gear is one small aspect of it. I'm a big believer in you've got to nail the content, dial in the pace,
Mm-hmm.
dial in the run of show, and get feedback from your audience. So I would work on show development. That would be a
Yeah.
good thing to do.
That's
Would have
awesome.
been a good thing to do.
So should have been my first question, but you and I are easily distracted. So, what brought you initially to Ecamm? How did you end
Oh,
up as part of
okay.
the Ecamm fam?
So I started out with Hangouts on Air until
Mm-hmm.
Google blew it up and they said, we're killing that product. So I'm like, well, what else is there? So I'm like, oh, this thing called OBS Studio. So I
Mm-hmm.
started doing OBS Studio and it couldn't put a single comment on the screen. It could do a lot, but it couldn't put a single comment on the screen. And I looked and I thought, and here comes along one of probably the most intelligent people I know, Sammy Superstar. And he
Sammy.
says, you got to get this Ecamm Live. You can do the comment there. I'm like, all right, I'll try it. And let me tell you, don't sleep on Sammy Superstar. If I have questions I can't answer, usually about hardware, I go to Sammy Superstar and he gives me the answer. So
Sammy's incredible.
a lot of my big computer purchases I run by Sammy.
I
Stuart is in
love
the
it.
audience as well. He's helped me a lot with setting up a second streaming studio. Stuart Video Tech Installations is here as well. So,
Well, hi,
but yeah, no,
Stuart.
Sammy said you got to get this Ecamm, and really, that was the only consideration at the time was Ecamm could put a single comment on screen because it was more engaging. I didn't want to put the flood. You could do the flood in OBS Studio, like every comment first in, first out.
Yeah.
I wanted to personalize it because I knew I was focused on the fan engagement and the community engagement, and so. And then once I got it, I'm like, oh, now I know what's up. So then I went all in and learned every button inside of Ecamm. So this is the thing. You get all these wonderful people on not only Meet the Fam, but across the whole Ecamm Live channel. And they're coaches or they're tech people, and they have some sort of connection with videos or streaming. I'm just a guy cranking out videos on the internet like crazy. Like, I'm not coaching. I'm not selling any products except some fun digital stuff, which I mostly give away for free because I'm bad at business. And yeah, so I feel like I'm in good company, and I'm a little bit different because I'm just engaging with my audience on all kinds of weird, wacky stuff that interests me: piano, woodworking, my vlog channel, and a whole bunch of other interests that haven't made the official YouTube channel level yet. Just because I have 3 YouTube channels, that's not my only 3 things I'm interested in. I have a long list of other things that I obsess
Yeah.
about.
It is
But
it is hard for I've struggled with this like a ton throughout my life, is that I think I'm probably similar to you in that I have so many different interests and hobbies and things that I'm passionate about or things that I can speak to, that it is really difficult because all the YouTube coaches or all the, people who are high level in video production anyway are always like, well, you need to have a niche, you need to niche down. And I'm like, I don't really want to. Like I've intentionally kept like my Instagram account. If you find me or follow me on Instagram, it's like, photos of like photos and videos from travel, some stuff from my family, a lot of crocheting, chicken keeping, all the podcast stuff I do, Ecamm stuff I like, trends in movies and TV, like, all kinds of things I'm passionate about. And it's funny because I think you have to be okay with who you are, what you want to do, what your goals are, and figure out where that Venn diagram kind of comes all together. So you're not going to be able to do everything and have, millions and millions of followers, but doesn't mean that you need to, it doesn't mean that you absolutely have to niche down. Maybe you don't need to hit the goals that you're trying to achieve. Maybe you're like Matt and you just break them out into, channels and shows and content that makes sense. And then once it bubbles up enough or hits a point of passion, then maybe that adds to the, to the list. But it does, I think it's the hardest part, I think, is trying to figure out who you are, what you want to be able to talk about, what you want to be able to showcase. The technology is all there to make all of it possible. I think the hardest thing is actually the planning part of it, where it's like, how do you want it to come to life? What do you want the content to be? What's the frequency of it? Is it live or is it recorded? Is it, a podcast or is it a live show? Or like all of those kinds of questions are the most difficult. We've been really trying at Ecamm to help people with it. Like this, almost like the soft skills that sit above the software. It's like, Ecamm can help you do all of this stuff, but you need to know what buttons to push. And I love, like, you sent in one of your notes in advance, talking about kind of how different you are in approaching Ecamm and in thinking this through. And I think this is super important for everyone to hear and to understand. Like, you don't have to use all of the features in Ecamm to be successful. You don't have to have all of the things there are people who are only live streaming and they are never going to use Ecamm for Zoom, and maybe like there are people out there that are never going to use interview mode. There are people out there that are only ever going to record vertical videos in Ecamm, and that's fine. Like that's what they want to do. And if they need at some point to do anything extra, it's there and they can add it on. But just because there's all of those windows doesn't mean you have to have them all open. You can click them all closed and focus on what's important to what your goals are. So yeah, I love that you're like, I'm not a Zoom guy, I'm not a webinar guy, like I'm doing this.
With my Awesome Fun Things channel and with your channel, we're doing it on hard mode, because if you look at the average success of the type of audience you'll get on the average successful channel,
Yeah.
if you niche down, you'll get a huge audience. But some people, a small percentage, will be all in on everything you do about any topic.
So true.
And when you're an everything channel, you're only playing in that small slice of people that will be all, because I'm talking about lawn care, I'm talking about web development, I'm talking about a project I built together, I'm talking about some new video gear. Like there are some people that, like, I want to hear everything Matt has to say on that, but that's a smaller percentage. So, and I realize that, but with the internet, no one's going to stop you. That's my thing. I'm like, well, if I want to do it, who's going to say no? So I'm just like, if I want to talk about it and it's interesting, and I know myself, like this is how I am all the time. I am not someone different in front of the camera. This is who you get, whether you're with me in real life or not.
Camera on, camera off. This is Matt. I love it. Well, some more great questions coming in. I don't want to miss any of them. So let's go through. So I Am Tall Boy says, which do you like, the screen or the circular camera for guest images? Oh, for the layout. I tend to use square or like squircle, like where square with rounded edges, but that's totally ad hoc. There's no rhyme or reason to it. How about you, Matt?
I like when it's the whole camera pixels.
Matt wants everything all in.
Because I've dialed everything in. Like I put that where it needs to be. I put Skeletor where he needs to be. The xenomorph is in front of the red. So when I'm cropped, I feel a little
trapped.
But no,
Matt feels boxed in. You know what? It's so funny. I feel like, again, this goes back to like, because you can do it, you do. There is something to be said for just like really clean, simple, especially if you've spent a bunch of time on your studio space or on your, on your background. I do think Mary Lou Mandel, she's since changed her studio, but a couple of years ago, she used to have literally just a white wall, and then she used colored lights to just like change what her background looked like. But it was only like one, maybe two colors in the background. That was it. And then it was just her. And there was something really like perfect about that. Like it's just really simple. You were like, could be full screen, could be, there's no wrong answer is the short answer.
It's a slow progression too. Like I'll make small tweaks along the way, or if I make a new piece of art that I want to showcase, I'll put it there. And it's fun. It's fun to play with it, because you should put yourself in the background, whether or not you're talking about that or not. I talk about professional topics with Pac-Man in the background. It's still, people want the professional topic, and it's kind of cool that they know I'm into 80s coin-op video games.
People love the behind the scenes. Like Pat Flynn is great at this, right? He's like a huge name, and he loves Back to the Future. He's got Back to the Future stuff in the background. His fans will send him like, if they see something that's Back to the Future like out there, they'll buy things and send them to him. They'll take photos of it and share. Like it's a connection point. It has nothing to do with the content he's sharing, but it's important to him, and it's part of his personality, and so it just becomes kind of part of it's almost like an Easter egg, right? It's like part of the story if you can connect with people on that deeper level.
A stormtrooper in the background and a warp pipe from Mario in his background. Yeah, I love it. Doesn't mean he's not any less professional, but he's still dropping knowledge bombs, and I'm all in. All in on putting your personality in your content.
Absolutely. Lala's being kind. Yeah, December Daily is coming up. So if you don't know what that is, in my geeky way, I do a few crafts. I'm not great at any of them, but I do a crochet, and then I do a scrapbooking project called December Daily, where you track each day of the month of December with photos. And I've already I've already planned mine out for this year, Lala. I've got my list of what I need to buy in advance. I do all my planning in September, so
I sort of come alive in December because there's Vlogmas. I did that, and that was
yeah,
multi-streamed to my Facebook profile, like right out there.
I love
And
it.
I was getting recognized. Like people would stop me at sporting events because I watch your podcast, and I'm taken back. I'm like, do I have a podcast? Oh, you're talking about my morning show. It technically is a podcast.
Yeah, that's how people. I feel like in the last couple of years, the growth of podcast and the mixing of like and the adding back in of video into podcasting kind of just like snap something in people's brains where like, yeah, now all live shows, like whereas before if you said like I have a live show, people would have no idea what that meant. Like they're like, oh, is that like on Facebook? Like what does that mean? But yeah, they could see that and immediately just say like, oh, that's a podcast, which it is, but it's funny how that like that's now a connection point. And I absolutely love that you are doing that. I feel like I've been saying this for a while, and it was this like lightning rod moment for me a couple of years ago where I was just like, I've been trying so hard to separate out my personal and my professional stuff. I was like, well, I'm only going to talk about Ecamm stuff or like professional stuff like on LinkedIn. And I'm like, my personal channels are only for me. And I was struggling with trying to like figure it out. And then after a while I was like, forget it. Like this is too much work. I'm just going to blend it all. But it is like people that like high school friends and, people who are like, I wouldn't think would care at all, or like, oh, I watched your show, or like, oh, I've been trying to do more like with my Zoom, and it looks like that's what you do for work. Like, can you answer these questions for me? Like people
There's
are people.
A lot of people
so
that are sleepers. Like they'll watch it and just watch quietly. And there's one guy I went to high school with. He only chimes in if I talk about the Marines because he's a former Marine. But he watches every show, never says a word unless I talk about the Marine Corps. And he'll chime in. There's a lot of that out there because it is public. Like you are public, and that's what I love about it. No one's stopping you. You could have a worldwide audience if your content's good. If your content's good, you can have a worldwide audience, and you can do it on relatively no money. Like there's no obstacle. 15, 20 years, you had to go to a television station and beg them to put you on air or beg you to put you on the radio, and you had to make deals and bribes and all that stuff just to have an audience. Not anymore. I am all about the independent content creator. Most of my entertainment is independent content creators. I watch I get obsessed about a few series that I geek out on, but I love my shows. Tall Boy has this Wednesday show. Tech Troublemaker has this Tuesday show. I'm all in on ENN. I love all the Ecamm shows, but there's something about ENN. The energy there resonates with me. And my puppies have a crush on Fulgence because he's so awesome.
I think everyone has a crush on your puppies. Too cute. Well, I want to talk about, I know you use a ton of different apps, so I'd love to talk through what some of your favorite tools are out there and what you're using them for.
Well, I'm using Adobe Express because it's like the Canva type service.
Adobe Express has come a long way. It's really made some like big strides. It's much easier to use now.
Well, the stock catalog is 10 times better than anything out there. So you can find exactly what you want on that catalog. Yep. I'm a Final Cut Pro guy. $300 one-time payment. Like, how is that even possible nowadays? So yeah. What do they call it? That's been depreciated on the expense report. So Final Cut Pro. I'm using CapCut to put the fire captions. The visual captions, I think in CapCut are superior to anything else because that was built by the people that did TikTok, and that look and feel is kind of what I wanted. I'll use Notion. Notion I use to catalog everything across all my internet properties, all my YouTube channels. So that's why I can come up with exact numbers of things and see the trends over time. And it's all built in. when I did the Leap, I was thankful enough to be a Leap presenter, the live
Hmm.
the Leap into Tools and Tactics on Ecamm. I was one of those presenters, and um, yeah, so Notion is a big part of that. I became Notion certified this year. That was
Did
fun.
you? That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah, yeah. What other tools do I use?
Stream
Uh,
Elements. I'm looking at your
Stream.
list.
Oh, how does Stream Elements make money? You can't pay them if you wanted to, and it's the best service out there. They do like widgets. Think of it as the widget overlays in
Hmm.
all kinds of different ways. Um, I I need to understand their business model, because how often is something the best? Nothing's better than Stream Elements, and it's mandatory free.
I love mandatory free. It's
Like
the best
that
expression.
doesn't exist anywhere. So yeah, I'm all in on Stream Elements. Um, uh,
Oh, talk to me
you know,
about. So you have on your list Adobe Character Animator. I've never used
oh
that.
yeah,
What
yeah,
are you
yeah,
using
yeah,
that for?
yeah. Cartoon Matt. Adobe Character Animator can make you into a cartoon. And what I did, see, I don't use stock anything. So I took a photo of my background and a photo of my mic, and then put it in a transparent ping file.
Hmm.
And I layered in Ecamm with the background, the Adobe Character Animator in the middle on a green screen, chroma keyed out, and then the mic on top. So it looks like a cartoon version of me is in my studio. So, so that comes with the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite if you get the super mega bundle, which I have, and so
I
that's what
love it.
Adobe Character Animator is.
Paul is dropping the links. I love it. There's something really fun about playing with the yeah, playing with like the different formats, like turning yourself into a cartoon or doing things that are unexpected. I think really makes a big difference, especially in getting people to stop scrolling and pay attention to your content. So that's
It's
awesome.
nice. I'm a very expressive person, and a cartoon can only go so far. I mean, yes, it's flawless. Yes, it works. Yes, it blinks. Yes, it follows your eyes. Yes, the mouth moves and the hands move, but it's not as expressive as a real person. So I use him occasionally, Cartoon Matt. That's fine. And it's something different. And the shorts seem to pop off when I'm in the Cartoon Matt. It's just different. People are like, oh, there's a cartoon. I want to
I know.
see
I
what
feel
15.
it. You're almost like again, like if you're scrolling through shorts, you almost like stop for a second and are like, what is that? Hang on a second.
Yeah.
I gotta see that. So I think it's smart.
Stop that scroll, baby. Oh, and,
Yeah,
that's why I
exactly.
use the green. You asked me about the green.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is
Tell me about the green.
well, here's the pro tip. Okay, now I'm dropping
Yeah, let's.
knowledge
Okay,
here.
we're get ready for everyone. Grab your pencils. We're writing down pro tips.
In Adobe Photoshop and a lot of different pixel video editors, it will warn you when you leave the safe CMYK, the cyan, magenta, yellow, black printing space, because when you have RGB, which is on a monitor or a phone screen, that's a backlit color
Yeah,
space. Unlike paper, this is wood, but pretend it's paper is reflective because it reflects off you. So there are some colors that cannot be represented on the printed page because there's no light behind
got
the
it.
paper.
Okay.
Those apps will warn you and give you a warning if you leave the safe CMYK zone and go into the RGB only. That's what you want. When you're playing the YouTube game, you want that warning, because that means your thumbnail will glow. It will glow. A lot of people, their thumbnails are just taken from their camera. And when that happens, everything is within the safe CMYK zone. I
Okay.
want a I want a background color that pushes outside of that CMYK space and into the glowing, impossible to represent on paper space. That's why I have green in my thumbnails.
Oh,
And green is the opposite of the red color space of YouTube, because the YouTube logo is
yeah.
red and white and black. So
So it
white,
pops.
black, and red are probably not ideal primary color fills in on that platform. And So,
I'm
you can push up purple, you can push up blue, but I liked the green because it seemed louder, if that makes sense. It seems more violent on the eyes. So when you're scrolling through, you have 20 thumbnails and you see my green thumbnail, mine is popping off at you. It's a technique to maybe get another click and maybe get another. So that's why I
That's
like green.
clever. I will say, like, every time that I see, your videos come up either on like my Facebook feed or in the community or on YouTube, I do like there is something about, and I wonder if that's just it. There is something about like your background and the lights, and it probably is a lot of ways the green, where it just you pop, like you pop compared to everyone else. So
Yeah, so
works for me.
that's a
Works
treat.
for my eye.
E Even if you're just doing a photograph, what I recommend is take the hue, saturation, brightness slider. Every pixel app has a hue, saturation, brightness slider. There are actually 3 sliders, one for each.
Yeah.
Take the saturation and just jack it up 10%, and that will brighten up your photograph, and sometimes it will push out of that CMY color space. So you can make a photograph, quote unquote, glow too,
Yeah.
if it's not too garish. So yeah, if all photographs on thumbnails have the saturation increased just a little bit, just to pull it out different than what's out there.
Mm-hmm. Smart. All right, keep coming. I know you have more tips here. What else? What
Yeah.
else do we need to know?
So my website is built in Notion, and Notion just came out with a new feature where you can have it be like a website now, with
Mm-hmm.
a real URL. It did have web publishing, but you had to use their Notion URL. So now I have the www.matthaas.com
Mm-hmm.
as my real website, and it is all Notion, baby. And you can go in and you can limit the database to only show you things from awesome wood things or awesome fun things, or I call it the fire hose, everything from every channel. Or you can say, just show me stuff in the future that hasn't happened yet. That's my streaming schedule. So I'll put
Exactly.
the streaming schedule out there, and it's all the same database. It's just looking at the dates and whether it's live or so it's I do love my website. My website is super functional. It's an asset tracker, I guess what they call it, like a file management system.
Yeah,
It's not
Notion is
necessarily,
great for that. It really does like an incredible job.
it has a little bit of planning in it, but it's mostly cataloging what's there. Because I got stuff, four YouTube. Well, I did have four. I have 3 YouTube channels now. 1,300 lifetime live streams, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of edited videos. You got to know where this stuff is, and it's all cataloged on. All my assets are on spinning disk removable hard drives and all that stuff. So it keeps track of it all for me.
Yeah, you are much more organized than we are. I will say, we finally, shout out to Paul and to Caleb, who worked diligently this entire year to catalog all of the Ecamm videos. It's preposterous how many videos we had. So, but it goes a long way. Anna just came through. She's here. She heard the ENN being mentioned, photography being mentioned. She's here. I
Oh
love
yeah,
it.
I believe she's taking headshots at Creator Camp.
We're doing something really fun with headshots at Creator Camp this year. So if you're not watching what Anna's been doing, she's been doing a lot of like incredible headshot like not just actual headshots, but like a clinic. Sorry, I'm trying to find the right name. Like teaching you how to be better at capturing your own headshots, as well as being able to work with photographers. So we're gonna learn how to take our own headshots at camp, which I think is gonna be really fun.
I need to redo mine because after all of this professional development, I took headshots of myself and then stripped out the background, and then put them into Adobe Express, and then I pop them in it's an easy way to just drag them onto your thumbnail. So I have 12 different shots of me going like this.
I know,
or
yeah.
like this.
Yeah. Exactly.
But in fairness, they could be a little bit better. So I'll take as many photography tips and posing and composition and lighting. Whatever you got for me, Anna, I'll take it.
It's so true. It's one of those things where you're like, it feels more complicated than it probably is. So having someone guide you through it is going to be huge. So if you're coming to camp, get excited. It's gonna be a lot
Honestly,
of
I
fun.
love how her first name is all lowercase letters by
Yeah,
choice. It's
it.
cool.
That's people who care about the aesthetic.
I,
Anna,
I
Anna
tried to
cares
get
about
her
the.
to use umlauts on her vowels, like Motley
No, then
Crue
it
with
would be
the two
so
dots.
hard in YouTube. Yeah, no, it would be too hard.
She wasn't into the umlauts.
No, safe move on it. Stay with the lowercase. Paul says
Uh,
we're at Ecamm's at 1939 videos, but who's counting?
there
we're
you go.
we're
There
uh
you go.
we're getting there. We started at I think 3 videos when I started, and now
No,
a lot more. But
I use
always
Ecamm every day. I don't think there's a day that goes by. Maybe a Sunday here and there. I'll squeak by without opening the app, but I'm always in. When that update comes down, I'm probably the first one to download it when they come
like
through on the
Matt's
beta.
got it. Okay, to everyone else. Yeah.
I rock the beta too. I am all in on beta. That has never let me down. It's very impressive. Very impressive what you've put together there.
Yeah,
with
I
with
can't
with
take
the
any.
staff you do. You went over the number of staff you have. I'm like, I can't believe this company is so awesome. And there's just a handful of full-time staff making it all happen. Very impressive. Very
9 of us
impressive.
in total. 10 if you count Paul, 11 if you count Luis, who help a ton with all of the work. And we actually should say today is Ken and Glenn's birthday. So if you're an annoying person, you should absolutely go over and, and make a giant deal of it. They somehow
Happy
always
birthday to the
quietly like,
twins.
yeah, they
Yeah,
somehow quietly slide
it's
by.
funny you say that because twins have been part of my professional life. I was at a steakhouse in high school, and the regional manager name was Patricia, and she was an identical twin.
Oh, cool.
And then after I graduated design college, I got a job, and the president was Patricia, and she was also an identical twin. So
Patricia's and twins. Wow, you tracked them all the way through.
what are the odds? What are the odds? So I think if I ever take a new position somewhere, I will have to work for an identical twin,
You'll
or
have
I
to
don't
fight.
get.
Yeah. Well,
I think
it is a
gotta keep the streak going.
very fun experience. I don't know what your twin experience has been like, but it's been a blast here at Ecamm. Yeah, actually, I have twins all the way through my family. My dad's a twin, so I'm but
Oh,
not
fun.
identical. He jokes because he's got a twin sister, and people ask all the time if they're identical. He's like,
Oh, okay.
no, we're not
It
identical.
doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that. His dad joke is that his mustache is much longer, and people just sort of stare at him blankly because they still don't understand how they're not identical. Even though yeah, exactly,
I'm not
exactly.
sleeping on sound effects either. I got all kinds of fun sound effects I put in
Sound
my
effects.
show.
I feel like this is the space that this is for the next few months and into next year. This is where I would like to get better. I would like to build up my sound effects panel because I'm sure there's lots of like sound bites that I could grab that would make it really fun. And I have not done a lot of playing with stream elements or with widgets, but there's, as you were saying, there's so much power there in just creating like a really engaging, fun, dynamic experience. So certainly worth playing with.
Here's a
Matt's on
pro
the
tip.
move.
So my sound effects are labeled green or red. So the greens are the positives and the reds are like the negative. That that helps. That helps, I think.
That's genius. I love it.
Yeah,
Oh
because you
my
can
goodness.
control the colors on the Rodecaster Pro. So I'm like, well, why not make it work? Because it was just rainbow, random. I'm like, let's get smart about that. So yeah.
Oh, I love it. Well, so everyone watching, this is the one thing I have taken away from spending time with Matt. There are no more excuses. All of you who are sitting here saying like, I can't do it. It's too hard. It's too much work. Live streaming is scary. Matt is out here doing it often, like and making it work and making it fun and making it engaging. So if you're sitting on the fence, talk to Matt or follow some of his stuff and grab some ideas because it really isn't as we are all making it much more complicated and bigger and harder and scarier than it actually is or than it needs to be. So props to you. Congratulations on
There's
an
some free
absolutely
stuff out on my store for streaming as well.
yeah.
Some lists and checklists and stuff like that. If you go to matthaas.com, there's a digital store link on the side. Most of it's
Love
$0.
it.
Go get it.
Matt, you gotta start charging some stuff for the go
I
now.
know.
Go now while it's still free, and then Matt start charging some stuff.
I understand business very well. I'm very bad at business because I give my stuff away for free. Even the t-shirts I sell, I jack the slider all the way down for profit. I just want people to have cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm a little guilty of that at Ecamm as well. I was like, for the merch store, I'm just like, it slides all the way down to like, they're like, no, you're not going to make any money. I'm like, yeah, that's not really the point of this.
Here's something. Yeah, my biggest surprising positive for the merch was I wear my Watch Me on YouTube t-shirt out and about, and I have business cards with my channel name in it. And people just come, oh, can I follow you? A lot of the young people say, can I follow? I'm like, technically it's subscribe, but you don't want to say that to someone. And I just hand them my card. It's the easiest touch point. You don't have to talk to anyone. Usually people come to me and talk about the Watch Me on YouTube. You're on YouTube? I'm like, bam. Yeah. Like one time I was at a hockey arena and I was walking one way and someone was walking the other way. I'm like, you're on YouTube? And I handed them the card as we passed each other. Didn't say a word to the person. And he just took the card. I just kept going.
That is awesome. Again, like there are so many tools out there in so many different ways that there really are no excuses. That's genius. I love that.
Not that I don't mind talking to people. I'm a people person. I'm one of those weirdos that just, lights up with people. But if you don't have to, if you have the shirt that says Watch Me on YouTube and a business cards in your pocket.
Yeah.
It doesn't young, old, I've had it just it's an interesting thing to do in public. And it takes no energy from you because you don't have to do anything. People just come up to you. It's fun.
Oh my god.
Awesome Matt thing says video like a dat. Please don't tempt me to make more YouTube channels because I will do it.
Awesome Matt things coming next week.
People have all kinds. I want to do a tech channel. I want to do in finance, not investing, but like savings channel, like that type. There's a lot. Lawn care. There's a huge lawn care community out there. I know I'm a freak.
No, I love it.
I do. There's many other interests I have, and they all could have their own channel, but I gotta draw the line.
Gotta draw the line. It's true. It's true. Matt needs to stand up and move.
3 is 3 too many. It's just too much.
3 is great. Well, we are, as usual, an hour flies by. We're at the end of our time together. But thank you so much for spending the time with us. And if you haven't yet, please go over and check out some of Matt's shows, all of Matt's shows. They're all awesome. Literally. They're literally awesome. And
you have to call it the doodly do. You can't call it the video description. It's the doodly do.
Okay. All right. So go check out the doodly do below and you'll be able to grab all of the information. Oh, last question. Good question from Johnny. So we'll take this one. What is it that what is your process to manage all of these different channels? This is a great one.
The process is I come up with an idea and I jot it down. And then I go all in obsessively until that video is done. That could be on a woodworking project and a video to accompany it, or a song on the piano. Like I would love, this is years away, to play Thunderstruck on the piano because it's very fast and
that would be
very
good.
It's not meant to be played on the piano, but it sounds like a thunderstorm on the piano.
Oh, cool.
So, anyway, and then I just go for it. And with the morning show, that's automatic. That's just what I did the day before, Monday through Friday. So there's not much, there's 20 minutes prep before that goes live. And then about an hour worth of chopping it up and making the email and putting it other places, stuff like that. So that kind of runs itself. But I have no shortage of what to do next. I've got a long backlog. Some things I catalog as totally bananas because it's just stuff that's really out there and might resonate with people. But I don't need coaching on what to come up with. I've got a long list.
It's all cataloged in Notion. It's ready to go. We're getting it all the way through. Well, great question, Johnny. Thank you again, Matt. Hang in there for a second so we can remind everyone that we have a community page. So if you haven't checked out this page yet, swing on over to ecamm.com/community. This is a really great spot to find all of those shows that we've been talking about, as well as the beta program and our affiliates program, where to connect with us and people like Matt in our community and on Discord. And it's Ecamm month. I love Ecamm month. It's Ecamm fan month. We're celebrating all of you. So we've been doing this really cool thing that if you sign up for our newsletter, you can win free stuff. We literally every Friday have been sending an email with a merch drop where it's all free. So it's first come, first serve. We're giving away tons of stuff. So make sure that you swing on over there, ecamm.com/community. And we are also running a giveaway. So if you swing on over to our Instagram, so we're Ecamm Network over on Instagram, we're doing this incredible giveaway. All you need to do is let us know why you love Ecamm. That's it. That's the easiest possible ask. So swing on over here, record a video or share a graphic, type what it is that you love about Ecamm if you're sharing a graphic, or record it in a video, tag us and use the hashtag #ILoveEcamm, and you could win a tiny to light webcam from OBSBot. You could win a Shure MV7 Plus microphone, $100 of Ecamm swag, and a switch pod. So basically my studio, guys, like really like my whole setup. So you could win all of that. Just let us know what it is you like about us. So a lot of fun over there happening on Instagram and also on our community pages. So hopefully you'll join us all there. And from both Matt and I, thanks so much for hanging out with us. And be sure to share this episode with some friends. Go down to the and grab that link to be able to join us on an upcoming episode. And thanks for hanging out. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks,
Bye,
Katie.
everyone.
Thank you, fam. I love you all.